All right, everybody. So we're in the mountains of southern Utah, and we're out camping. I'm camping with my friend Lance, who's in the Capri camper there. He actually runs the YouTube channel Adventures of Shadow, primarily rock hounding and astrophotography. Richard's there with the pop-up truck camper there. That's 4-wheel campers. That's their Grandby. And then the camper over to the right, that's my home-built camper. They call it the 8.0. But let's very different campers, but let's go take a look at each of them. So this is your camper. This is the brand is 4-wheel campers.
It's a 4-wheel camper brand. They're out of Woodland, California. This is the Grandby model, and it's, I believe, the largest model they make. At least it was when I purchased mine. I've added a few things. I changed out the handle here because the handle that it came with, my wife thought was too puny for her. I use a little step to get into it.
Now this is a pop-up camper, right?
This is a pop-up camper. Right now it's popped up, and when I'm traveling, of course, it comes down.
So let's walk before we pop inside real quick. Let's just kind of walk around, and then as far as the pop-up aspect, this dividing line right there where that black strip is, this part will collapse down, right?
And these are the hooks that fasten it down. It's very easy to pop up and down, really. This is something I added just for extra storage. A guy could use it to put his fishing poles in. I use it to store a homemade awning that fits on these little hooks that I installed.
And as far as gas mileage, this is you said a 2017 Ford F-150 2-wheel drive with the 5-liter in it, right?
Yes.
And you said about 15 and a half?
15 and a half, 16 miles a gallon.
That's amazing. So the big advantage of the pop-up is the profile. It's not very tall when you're actually driving.
The wind resistance is really, and it travels very well on the highway, on the rough roads. I've been on very rough roads with this.
Let's go jump on inside. Take a quick look inside of there.
This is the standard F-150, but it has the heavy-duty package on it. So
yeah, I mean it doesn't really drop the suspension hardly at all. No. So you got the shorter door because of course it collapses down. Now what's amazing, at least is you get in here and just how big this is in here. I could definitely see why people like the pop-ups, you know?
Yeah, it's got its own little lights, of course. I put in my own battery.
That's a 200 amp hour.
Yeah, it's 200 amp hour lithium, and along with a charge controller, I have 440 watts of solar on the roof with flexible panels that I installed. It's got its own little sink, stove, propane stove hooked into your propane, your plug-ins for your whatever.
And then you got a nice little seating area right here.
Yes. Now this particular table I made myself. It comes with a bigger table that fits in this space to convert this space into a bigger bed.
Okay.
That you sleep this way, and in these. So when I'm with my wife, I use the bigger table, and we both sleep. She sleeps down here, and there's another bed. I sleep up there on top. It's perfectly, because it's just easier to keep that made, and then keep this like this. But I put in this little table because it's actually a little more convenient for one person.
Yeah.
Two people.
Does that thing swivel around a little bit?
Yes. I used the same mount, and I found a dowel and whatnot that would fit.
Oh, that's a nice job. You got your little corners there rounded off or cut. And then this is the fridge right here.
That's the fridge.
And that's just 12 volt DC.
It's 12 volt DC fridge hooked into the solar. It never had a problem. And as you can see, there's tons of storage every place. And for excess storage, even under each seat, there's a lot of storage. I have lots of extra water, drinking water, all sorts of extra whatever I need, clothing, you name it.
How hard is it to put up the pop-up?
You got to be careful not to put a lot of stuff on the roof. Now, if you put your kayak up there, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
and they even make things where you can like crank it up. But I just have 4 120-watt flexible solar panels up there with a very lightweight mounting that I used. I attached it to the roof with VHB tape so I wouldn't have to drill into the roof at all. And that stuff has been just rock solid. It hasn't had any hint of coming off.
But you can do this. You could put this all up by yourself. You don't need,
I'm an old man, and I'm pretty weak, but I don't have a problem doing it.
This is a beautiful, and you got a little vent fan up there.
It came with this one vent fan.
And then this just this black part just kind of folds down and adds a little extra rigidity, right?
That's their method of popping it up. It's sort of, I don't know if it's patented or what it is, but they used to be made out of plywood. Now they're made out of this super composite. It's quite strong, and I've had this camper in some tremendous storms, and it's never leaked a drop. And the only downside is it makes noise, just sort of like a tent does.
Yeah.
When the wind is blowing, but it doesn't leak with the way they've designed the windows, and and of course another downside is that it's just thin fabric here, so it's
not insulated.
It's not insulated. They make an insulation packet. You attach. See the
is that Velcro? Okay.
It's a big Velcro thing. You can make one yourself to attach insulation, which I've never found the need for because mostly I'm in the southwest where.
Yeah, well, and like all things, we understand it's all compromises, right? I mean, the real advantage here is that it's easy to drive in or drive around the truck with, yet you can pop up this top, and I mean, this is very spacious in here. This is very nice. Yeah. So, all right, well, I appreciate it, Richard. Thanks for showing us. All right, Richard, one more thing you wanted to show us. You made this modification, right?
It came with lots of different cabinets, but there was a space here that was unused. When I bought it, this was just the flat panel, and it was like a blank space under there, and I thought that was sort of a waste, so I got a piece of wood from the factory and installed a little opening there, so I just and put in on the inside something a plywood thing to
keep stuff from going too far back in there?
Keep it from going back in there, and this is very handy for when I'm cooking. And
all right, so let's go over to Lance and take a look at his camper. Lance, you want to start from the inside?
Yeah, come on in, Dave.
All right, so real quick, I mentioned briefly that you have your own YouTube channel. Why don't you tell us, hold on a second, let me get up in here. Why don't you tell us about your YouTube channel real quick?
Well, my YouTube channel is called The Adventures of Shadow, and this is Shadow. And we do deep space astrophotography from high elevation remote locations and rock hounding.
Rock hounding, all right. Can you say hi, Shadow? No, you're being shy. So this is the Capri Cowboy camper, right?
That's correct. Yes.
And you bought this, what about?
February.
February. So, and you've seemed to really enjoy it, and you made a lot of your own modifications here, right?
Yeah, I have. It comes rather well equipped. It's got the heater here, and this is really well insulated. It's a rather small location. Pardon the voice. And when I do need it, it's more than adequate. And then it comes with a window type AC unit that's built into the wall there. And again, being a small space and well insulated, it cools off really quickly. And thanks to a friend of mine named Dave, I have solar power on the roof. I've got two 100 amp lithium ion batteries.
And they sit down underneath that.
Underneath here. And so Dave helped me with all of this. I really can't thank him enough.
So now you can run your AC off of, this Dave's a good guy, right?
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, I can run everything. And with the three 100-watt solar panels on the top, I've never run out of power. So, yeah.
And then you made some modifications.
I added this little...
oh, yeah, let's take a look at this thing
here. That gives me just another table spot. Kind of when I'm sitting here, I can kind of roll around and do everything.
Hold on. I gotta find the right position. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that.
And this idea was given to me by that one said Dave as well.
So it's like a little secretary desk there. And then you're sitting. You said this was a tattoo chair.
Believe it or not, it's not that I have any tattoos either. It's just I saw it online. It wasn't very expensive. I thought that looks really comfortable, and the wheels are really good quality, And I could just sit here, and
then
kind of like, you know, scoot around while I'm doing my stuff. Because
So-
this is a confined space, so this allows me to, it gives me mobility in the chair.
So now, so this camper it has an internal height, what was it, 61 inches, right?
What is, it's 80, the outside dimensions are 84 inches by 84 inches square, and then the height, what was that? I mean, I can't quite stand up in it.
I think it was 61, if I remember.
It might
But
have been.
but the point is, it's not one that you could stand up in, but it's very spacious in here. Now tell us, why did you choose one that was, a lot of people might ask, why did you choose one that was a little shorter than this? Or why did they make this version?
Well, that's a great question, because, you know, campers, it's all about a compromise. You're compromising for different reasons, right? I go on really rough roads, and I don't want too much weight. And I also, you know, want to be able to go through drive-throughs, and I just didn't, I'd leave it in the back of the truck all the time. So it's tight and small enough that when I'm regularly driving, or if I'm creeping up rough mountain roads, it's like it's not even back here. So I had that specific purpose in mind. I want it light. I didn't want to overburden the vehicle on these rough roads. I wanted to be able to leave it on, go through drive-throughs or whatever. And the compromise is I don't get to stand up all the way in it. But I work around that. You know, I'm not in here a lot. I sleep in here and I do what I need to do, but I'm outside most of the time.
And you did, you know, one thing I thought was very creative that you did a few things in here that, it is a very large camper inside here, but it even gives it a larger perception of size. And that was, you added a bunch of mirrors, right?
Yeah, I did, you know. I threw some mirrors on here because mirrors, I've got a little bit of experience with that, you know, over the years. Not that I'm an interior decorator by any means, but mirrors can do an amazing thing to a space. There's a mirror right there, and then there's these mirrors back here, and they all serve a function. I mean, I'd like to be able to see myself once in a while and see if I, you know, if I look okay. But it does give a impression of a much bigger space.
It does. And then up here you got, so one quick thing, this usually just use it in bed, but this could convert to like a little seating.
There's a table here, and these pads go up against the walls, and this table comes up, and I have a seating nook. And it's actually really cool, but what I find is that when I'm in here, I'm usually sleeping or, you know, taking a nap or something, and thus the little secretary desk gives me the table space that I need. And 99% of the time, I just leave it this way.
And the one thing I like is yes, you can't stand up in here, but you get in here, you sit in that chair, you can scoot around, you're not on your knees. And like you said, with that desk, you got, because you're a solo traveler, you know, other than of course Shadow.
Yeah, he's with me.
He's pretty easy. But you know, you can roll over, you can use your desk, you have a place to work on, you can access, because up here, we'll talk about, you got a little sink.
Yeah.
Let me,
That old sink right there.
you got a sink and some storage off to the left here.
Water.
Oh yeah, a little pump water. And then you just use a butane stove, but you're mostly cooking outside, right?
I prefer to cook outside. I only cook inside if it's inclement weather. But again, usually, even if it's inclement weather, I'll boil water or something inside. But if it's going to be a splattery, messy, you know, cooking up something like bacon and eggs, I prefer to do it outside.
And you made all of your own little modifications.
Yeah.
You got
A little messy, but yeah, I've got everything that I need right there by the bed. And there really is a lot of storage space. You know, there's these 3 units, and you fit a lot of stuff in there. 2 big storage spots in here.
there.
And a sizable one right in there.
Is that okay to open that bed with?
Yeah, that's all my dishes and stuff.
All right.
And then, you know, you got a spot here and a spot below. And you can buy these in different configurations. Pre-camper guys, they only, they make them custom make them. They make them to order, and they don't ship. So you have to drive to outside of Dallas to pick them up. But they're super helpful. They'll take all the time you want on the phone, email, to get everything just the way you want it. Then you got to go pick it up. But we had kind of fun. We had a fun trip, actually, Shadow and I did.
And that's on your channel, right?
Yeah.
So I'll link your channel, and then I'll link that specific video. That's where you bought the camper. It shows them loading it up, and then you drive back to, because you live here in southern Utah yourself, right?
Yep.
Why don't you real quick show me the outside? Because I know you made a few modifications there.
Well, probably the biggest modification were the solar panels on top.
That thing looks good. I love that the gray and the black. I don't know what you call it, like a diamond plate.
It's a diamond pattern, or a quilt. They call it a quilt pattern. Some people say diamond, but at Capri they were referring to it as a quilt. I love it too. And then I've got a get flated. That thing blows up on the top. I can put a lot of stuff up there for storage, and it comes off real easy.
Let's go walk around the front. It kind of looks cool. And you got your own little, what was that? Is that Go Rhino? Is that what I see?
I put that up there myself.
A little rack there.
I also upgraded the rear springs on the vehicle. Again, it's not an overly heavy camper. I think it was around 700 and some odd pounds. And then of course you load your stuff and throw water in there and things like that. It starts to take it up.
And then this is was this a 2023?
Yes, 2023 Ram 1500 with the Hemi engine, V8 Hemi engine, which they don't make anymore. It's a great.
They don't?
No,
I didn't know that.
My third Hemi. I love the Hemi.
And then refresh my memory. You got pretty incredible gas mileage too, right?
It's really not bad with this thing on. If I average it all out, it comes about 16.
About 16.
Now, I'm light on the pedal.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
of course.
fill up with shell. I swear it makes a difference.
No, I love it though. But again, that balance but between both of these, there's not much of a compromise between comfort and mobility. You guys are getting great gas mileage. They're easy to drive. And real quick, while we're here, Richard lowered the top, so that's what it looks like. So pretty darn low profile there. And it took him, I think he's only been working on that about the time period that we've been talking to Lance. So, all right. You have anything else to add, Lance?
Other than the shovel on the back and a few things like that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Let's go take a quick look.
But this came with it.
And what was that? Was that a Wave? Was it a Wave 3 catalytic heater or something like that?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then that's the AC sticks out, but it's got a cover on it. And then oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I bought the cover. Yeah, I did buy the cover, so to cover it up, and the shovel. And really, I haven't modded the outside of it much at all, other than the solar panels, which were awesome. And then inside, more creature comfort stuff.
Yeah, and then the tailgate has to be down, but you use that space to work from, but you also store...
That was the big debate when I first bought it. Tailgate off or tailgate down? And I decided, let's just put it in at the factory with the tailgate down, and then I can decide. Now, I wouldn't have it any other way, because I use this space all the time. I'm constantly using it. Plus, I can step out, and I use a little step ladder to crawl in and out. So it may not be the ideal aesthetically, but it's so nice having
I don't think it looks bad at all. I think you're right. All right, thanks, Lance. I appreciate it, my friend. And your channel and the video will be all linked up in the description. All right, and then this is mine. I'm assuming if you guys are watching this video, most of you are very familiar with my channel, but I make these handmade campers. Every one of them are different. This is what I call my 8.0. It's my latest one. It's sitting right here on a F-150 with a 6.5-foot bed. One of the themes between both Richard and Lance's vehicle was this idea of mobility versus comfort, and that's, this one's obviously has a interior height of 61 inches also, so very similar to the Cowboy camper, and it's done for that on purpose. It's not meant to be a great big one. It's meant to be just for a solo traveler, just easy to drive. My truck is I'm still kind of working out the gas mileage, but it's probably somewhere in that 15 to 16 mile per gallon range, just as the other two were. But it's meant to be just a real simple, easy one to move around, and it's perfect for one person. I'll link the full description in there, or in the description of the video, I'll link this full tour video for this camper if you happen to be tuning in and you're not familiar with it. But yeah, guys, just this is it's all wooden here, all handmade, all custom. So, but the full tour will be linked in the description if you guys are interested. So, but I appreciate you guys watching. Thought it would be a great opportunity to look at 3 different truck campers, 2 that were commercial manufactured, and one that's home built here. And you guys can different different methods for doing different things, different philosophies, and I thought it'd be instructional for you guys to take a look. So thanks guys for watching, and see you guys next video.